The thing about dance, it's like the most visceral, one of the most visceral art forms. If you have any fear or insecurity, it shows unless you like channel it on stage. So it forces you to become someone who, I don't want to say is better than you, but who is different, you know? Like if you want to convey confidence, you have to embody confidence. If you want to convey vulnerability, you have to allow that vulnerability on stage. It's very, very vulnerable and it demands so much courage of yourself. And that's something that I wanted to dance for, is to access that courage within me, access that performance, and really go into that. My name's Emmanuel James Barco. I go by Barco. I just do what I want to do, you know? I'm trying to, like, my brain's telling me I don't come off pretentious, but it's like, I dance, I design, I do art, I sing music, and that's me. I think that's just part of my character. I always want to be the person doing, I don't want to be the one watching. Whilst I do love, you know, sitting down to watch a movie or something, I see something cool, I want to do that. I think something I want to emphasize is I've only really been intentional about pursuing a career in anything creative like the past 2 or 3 years. So I told you I was a model student. I was getting like all the best grades. I was in debate club, I was doing that. And then come to the later years of my education, I was like, why do I do any of this? Like, I just had an epiphany. I was like, oh, I don't know what I like or what I do. So the past 2, 3, 4 years has been finding that. It started off a bit rocky. I went to uni for a year doing management. I dropped out after a year. So when I was back at home, I went to a thrift store and I bought a plain zip-up jacket and it sat in my wardrobe for a while. But one night, I was like, you know, let me do something with that. Because on TikTok, I'd been seeing people do bleach art, but they didn't do it the way I wanted to. And then I got some chalk and I bought some bleach. And then I already had paintbrushes at home. So I went home, it must have been around 12 p.m. and got the jacket out, put it on my bed. I got the chalk first, and then I drew a design from this anime called Evangelion. Then I took the bleach and the brush and I just did that. And it reached like 2 a.m. and I just did it overnight. When I posted this the morning after, it really blew up. People saying they loved it, posted it on TikTok. It went sort of viral. I think it's at like 2.3 million views. But at that point I was like, oh wait, I actually have something and I can do something. And as much as you want to be, you know, self-motivated, self-assured, getting that sign from, I guess, the universe of social media was like, oh wait, I have something. And that spurred my journey of doing freelance painting for like 2, 3 years. But that was like the start of my creative journey, at least the intentional one. We're going to a dance studio.
How do you get to a place where you create in so many ways?
I have a counter question, and it's, how do you know that you want to stick to one art form when you're just, especially for us young people, we're so early on in our journey. Even with careers back when I was in school, I was always wondering, like, how does this person know they want to do banking? Or how does this person know they want to be a doctor or a lawyer? I never had that calling to be something. And now I'm taking the time to figure out what it is I want to do, creatively especially. And I'm finding out what sticks and what doesn't. So I guess the answer to your question of why multitasking is because I'm still searching, I'm still figuring out what sticks with me. Another reason why I'm in so many different disciplines. If I also have all these other disciplines that work with each other as well, different aspects, different behaviors that you need to exhibit in different disciplines, then it just makes me a better creative overall and a more unique creative. And I felt like that angle would also, you know, help me gain commercial success or success that I need to go on to continue doing my creative stuff. When people say juggle and I say I do juggle, it doesn't mean that I have it all sorted out. It just means I'm in the motions of it and I'm at least somewhat grounded enough to move through all of it with grace. That's the word I'll use. It's all still an exploration of what my energy looks like. So there have been times I've tried to juggle too much, or there have been times I've tried to focus in on one thing, and that's a spectrum that I'm constantly figuring out where I'm on. That constantly changes too. So sometimes I will have the capacity to sing, dance, right at the same time. But sometimes, like especially now, I'm really heavily leaning towards dance. And I guess that's just part of how I operate creatively. So this is CSM. There's lots of windows, lots of open space. It's covered so it doesn't rain, and just everyone comes here to dance. Lots of different styles. Some people for hobbies, some people for performances. But it's free, it's not too cold, and there's actually like a really good sense of community here. So you'll like text your friend, you're like, oh, CSM at 5 p.m. Yeah. Oh, this person's coming, this person's coming. You come here, dance for like 3 hours, talk, have fun, then go off late at night. It's really nice. This is like a really big part of the dance culture here. One really big discussion right now is how the creative scene, how creative culture will continue to thrive in the face of gentrification, capitalism, everything. So this is like, living proof that we're still fighting for a sense of community here through dance, and that institutions like CSM are willing to give creatives this space, because I think there is something in place which actually like formally lets us dance here. And that's one of my favorite things, is watching all the other dancers. You see people doing salsa, breaking, freestyling. It's so cool.
How do you feel about hustle mentality?
Hustle culture is really one-dimensional, and the answer to that is being creative. I think people believe in hustle culture so much because it makes them think that if they follow this script, then they will succeed. And sure, it will for some people because they have the capacity, they have the privilege, they have the bandwidth to follow that rigorous thing and then come out successful. But for a lot of us, that isn't the reality. We have life to catch up with, work we need to go to. So you need to really get creative with how success looks for you. Just really tap into yourself, but get creative with how you can get that success. And I think part of my journey especially was realizing that I didn't need for my version of success, I didn't need to go to the traditional route. If anything, the traditional route would stifle my creativity, my freedom, and that freedom was something that was really important to me. Yeah, so my advice and my thoughts on hustle culture is, might work for some, doesn't work for a lot of people. Find out what you want and find out your own way to get there, because that's gonna look different to other people. And once you actually do find what works for you, which is what I've been doing for the past 2-3 years, then you can sort of look into hustling a bit more, locking in, because the stuff you do isn't going to burn you out because it's more you. Yeah. An important part about my artistic process is having that safety for all those creative impulses to arise. And I realized you don't get that in a lot of places. So I'm neurodivergent. So comfort is really important to me because that allows me to unmask, to do the work that I want to do. In education, in institutions, even in industry, that's such a hard place to do it because you've got people telling you this, you've got things that people want you to be. And I think allowing myself to create that autonomy for myself, and that meant moving back home, doing a lot of the things in my own space. I felt like that was really important for me. And that's one of my goals, actually. I want to have my own studio one day where I can just do everything that I do, dance, paint. I want to do ceramics one day. Yeah, I say safety, physical, mental, spiritual, all of that. That's quite, yeah. There's a gray area between making art for art, but making art for expressing things that life makes you want to express. And to be able to create the art, you need to live, And I find that when artists focus too much on just art, for example, fashion design, it becomes very insular. Your frames of reference become really small. It's like, you just need to live and make that a priority, because that is still part of your creativity. Because bottom line as well, if you focus on your creativity, but you're not focusing on your health, you're gonna burn out. If you're focusing on your creativity and you're not focusing on your relationships, you're gonna be lonely. I started to make friends at dance. So they started to become my family. Like Ibti, who just came in, I can call her a good friend. Dance gave me that. Dance keeps me on top of my health. And then at one point, I was going through something hard. And then I went into class, I channeled my energy, and I came out feeling really well, really good. And then I was like, oh wait, I can use dance for that as well. Right now, it's definitely a lot about creative expression. That's mostly why I chose dance, and it's because it's fun. I love dance. Dancing is so fun. Like, yeah, that's why I dance.